All right, everyone. Well, hello, and thank you for joining our Greater Fort Dodge Update webinar with us today. I'm Jill Nelson with the Greater Fort Dodge Growth Alliance, and again, thanks for being with us. So this is a quarterly program that we like to do just to give our community members and our business partners and members an opportunity to really hear from our community leaders as to what's going on in the region and to get your questions answered. So we had several really great questions that were submitted and topics that we're going to cover today, but just a couple of quick things before we do that. So everyone will be muted during this webinar, but our chat box will be available. So as we go through these questions, if you have any follow-up questions that you'd like to ask, or even just any additional questions, please be sure to utilize the chat box to those. We have a fairly full slate of questions and updates, and we're going to keep this right at an hour, but we'll try to get to as many of the additional questions as we can, but just know that we'll be wrapping up right at 1. And so with that being said, I'd like to introduce our panel today. We have Dennis Plautz, the CEO of the Greater Fort Dodge Growth Alliance, Mark Campbell, he is the chairman of the Webster County Board of Supervisors, and then we have David Fierk, who is the city manager with the city of Fort Dodge, joining us. So thank you guys for being part of our panel, and we're just going to jump right into the questions here. So first question, this one is going to be, David, we'll have you take the lead on this one. And can you provide an update on the mall, please?
Sure, it's exciting times. It's a really big redevelopment effort, and we're starting to see things take shape. The Unity Point building is getting close to being done on the outside. You've seen streets, if you've driven by, you've seen streets going in on the north side of the old mall. The street would be 2nd Avenue South. That's being constructed. I think what we're seeing as the retail start to come out of the pandemic, they're willing to start looking at expansion plans. Our developers have it, in possession of very close to 2 letters of intent from national retailers looking at going on the site. So that's really exciting. They are talking to well over, talking to well over a dozen, but they're in significant conversations with at least a half a dozen retailers looking to develop or be on the site once we're more into development. The other part of the project we're working on is our Iowa Reinvestment District application. We will know by the end of this week whether we made the first cut. The city applied for our application included a kind of an open space, gathering space, and then a 4-season kind of pavilion space to be part of that. There were people where there can be, different events held, or people can just recreate or whatever. So we're excited about that unique feature that could be part of this mall redevelopment. We should know, we'll know by Friday whether we made the first cut, and assuming we do, then we'll make a presentation to the Iowa board on the 30th. So we're excited about that. I think that's the drawings are underway for the new Yonkers wing, and what I mean by that is a portion of the Yonkers wing is going to stay in place, and the idea is to have that be a strip center. So we should see some new and some of the existing retailers move into that space. So that's a pretty good update for now. I think we'll have a lot of hopefully positive news by Friday on our reinvestment application.
Great. Any other comments on that?
No, that's all I have that I can share, unfortunately.
All right. So moving on, so there's lots of other development efforts happening, and recently in the newspaper we've seen some updates and announcements on the Riverfront Development. So Mark, I think we'll have you take the lead on this. So can you share some of those details about the Riverfront Development, and then a timeline as well?
Thanks, Jill. Yeah, this is an exciting project that the Conservation Department's been working on for quite a while. Matt Cosgrove is a phenomenal planner and an incredible leader, so we're very excited to be a part of this project. The catalyst for this is going to be Riverfront Development with a new conservation center. The Riverfront Conservation Center is going to be about a 15,000 square foot facility. It's going to include classroom, meeting space, office exhibits, and storage. From there, we're going to start moving out into other parts of the county. We're going to pave the trail around Kennedy Lake. And we're also going to start working on connections to Badger and do some trail work in Dayton and Gowrie. So all of this is a quality of life initiative that we realized as people want to work, play, live, they need to have things to do. So in conjunction with the city's continued partnerships, we're going to start working with some of the smaller communities in the county and do some of these same projects out there.
Great. And so the Riverfront is a collaborative effort between the county and the city. So David, do you want to share some information from the city side of things?
Yeah, we have some really neat plans for the riverfront. One of the things we're fortunate of is when we removed the dams, we had some excess proceeds from that project that we can start spending on quality of life initiatives. So you're going to see some construction around the little dam that is going to start this summer, maybe towards the middle to late summer, which will add a parking lot on the southwest side of the river, then paved paths down to fishing jetties and other things along the riverside. And the fishing jetties will be both on the east and west side of the river to make it really accessible for people who want to go down and get close to the river and fish in it. And there'll be some features that, the water's the right level that canoeists and kayakers can float over and have fun with that. And then in complements to what the county is doing, the city is starting the Central River District redevelopment. We have a master plan to redevelop that entire area of the Central River District. We'll start spending some money this year, get some utilities relocated, and doing some basic dirt moving and another site prep, getting ready for the county's building, and then we'll be coming back and adding other features, other kind of play areas, pavilions that complement what the county's doing, some walking trails, and then have some space available for a commercial development that might want to go in that area as well. So we're really excited about the partnership and what's going to be as far as the destination for the riverfront. And in addition to follow up on Mark's comments on the other quality of life features, the city is going to pave a portion of our existing nature trail, which is a limestone trail now. The portion between the Woodlands and D14 is going to be paved so that people who are using the county's paved trails north of that, have pavement all the way to the Woodlands Drive. So that's an element. And then paving along 22nd Street, a trail from the Woodlands south to like 19th Avenue North area, and where that trailhead is that connects then back into the nature trail. So again, a truly partnership, complementary effort on quality of life, both riverfront and trails, to make sure we have a great network that serves our entire area.
Nice.
If I can jump in for a minute, David, it really is a great partnership, because these things wouldn't be happening if that partnership wasn't there. But the other thing, they're terrific quality of life things. Think back 20 years when you had a bunch of abandoned industrial properties down at the end of Central Avenue that Mark was talking about. They were contaminated, but they were all acquired, cleaned up with EPA money. And now you're turning them over to bring people back to the river, as opposed to adding an increased speed limit on the bridges to get you across the river very quickly. So it's a whole new dynamic going on. And I really do think it's an extremely good thing for both our residents and from my perspective, more importantly, future residents that are looking for a place to come and work.
Yeah, that's great, Dennis. I was waiting for you to make that connection and say it's all economic development. And it truly is. I mean, we had a meeting with our staff the other day, and we were talking about quality of life initiatives. And we compete on the global marketplace for scientists, technicians, everyone, with our companies. And every time that I've been in conversations where we're talking to the people that are involved in location and expansion, they're asking quality of life questions. How am I going to be able to recruit the highly paid people I need to Fort Dodge. And it's good that we can tell the story now and show what we've done.
Not everybody has a river.
No.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you guys. All right, so this next question is involving our water treatment plant. So David, what is the timeline for the new water treatment plant, and what can our community members expect with that?
So this is a very timely question. We'll probably know more even detail tomorrow than I know right now, but so it's a matter of days before we start up the $20 million reverse osmosis portion of the plant. So we might this Sunday, depending on where we're at with completion of a few items yet this week, we might be able to start the plant this Sunday and produce what I'd call 45% soft water, and then move to 75% soft water next Sunday. There's a thought that maybe that we'd have a short little ramp up. If that isn't able to start this Sunday, then we'll just go to 75% soft water next Sunday. So we'll see it here in a week or so at least. Industry, by virtue of their consumption, will see the water change rather quickly because they'll get the new water pretty much right away. Whereas residents, it might take 2 to 3 days before the water gets to the entire system to where a resident might notice the water quality changing. We are in daily conversation, constant conversation with our industry because it's sensitive to them. They know what kind of water they're getting, so they know how to then change their own filtration, softening process within their plant to meet their needs. And so what that also then on the residential side, residents so the city's going to produce, like I said, 75% soft water. It's not 100% soft. So a lot of people have their water softener set for fully soft water. We don't do that, and municipalities don't do 100% soft water. I won't get into that, but we're at 75%. So you may need, after we're there, and we'll get this information out, you may need to adjust. You'll definitely need to adjust your water softener, whether we can provide the information on what is the constituents of the water coming in, and people can adjust it themselves, or they can contact their installer and have them make the adjustments to the. But if people are going to use their softeners and to soften their water, they are going to need to make an adjustment on the water softener because they are set for a certain hardness coming in, which will be significantly lower. So like I said, it's just a matter of a couple of days or a week or so, and we'll have a different water here in Fort Dodge. It's pretty exciting.
David, congratulations on that project. I know it's been a big project for the city, and I know it's going to really help promote and provide, as Dennis would say, more economic development because it does help our industrial partners.
Yeah, in fact, one of our industrial partners, which is one of the top 5 or 6 water users, will actually save about, I think it was about $70,000 a year simply because of it being treated now. So it's not insignificant.
No, it's not. And residents should see a savings as well. If they choose to continue to use their softener, they'll use significantly less salt. So they'll see a savings of not having to fill the softener as much. And appliances will last longer. So it's like I said, it's overall it's good. It's good for the community. It's good for both industry and residents to have higher quality water.
Right. So we are going to go back to the topic of quality of life. So we had a question submitted from the chat box. Thank you. And we have some curiosity around the OHV park. So there's always a lot going on out at the OHV park. And this individual is wondering, is it going to continue to expand like it has?
So recently, Matt Cosgrove, our Director of Conservation, and Tasha Nelson have been meeting with, I believe, some of the mills to see what they're going to do with some of the land as they have mined it and discontinue it or take it out of production. They're going to continue to update the master plan for the park because we are seeing incredible numbers out there already. Last year it had to be our biggest year. I don't know the final number, but by far had to be one of our biggest years. And compliments to the staff for keeping it open the best they could and maintaining those trails and everything out there. So I do believe the park will continue to grow. I know that Tasha and Matt continue to go down to the state to see what they can do for funding to make that happen. And I think as our partners that own the land around us discontinue their production of that land, we're going to do everything we can to acquire it to make the park bigger and better every year.
Great. And I think that the adding the campground and the tiny homes, I mean, that was a really exciting addition. And those amenities, I mean, help that park as well and give those visitors, you know, a nice convenient place to stay too.
Oh, it's incredible. When you see some of the trailers, campers coming in out there, it's just incredible. Unloading 4, 5, 6 machines and whole families going for a ride all day. It's just incredible. And then, you know, for me, I go home and I see them at the Colville gas station getting pizza and chicken food. So it is a direct impact. I know, you know, in town, you'll see the campers there. It's a great opportunity for everybody to see a different side of our county. So,
yeah,
you know, that's another project that's been ongoing for years. And it's probably, you know, if I had to pick 1 or 2 projects that involved cooperation and collaboration among groups, I think when we did the last ribbon cutting, we identified about 18 different groups that have been involved in developing that park. Many people don't know, but it's actually a state park. So we get management help through the state of Iowa, but yet the property is not owned by the state. The property was reserved local, and a local 501c3, the Webster County Improvement Corporation, actually owns it, which is the group that the mills have been comfortable giving the land to. And what that does is leave us locally with the ability to influence how we would use that land if it ever turns over, or if we add land. You know, it may be that the park will grow, but it may also be that there'll be ancillary opportunities out there, you know, surrounding the park. Right now, it's bigger than all 6 or 7 other parks combined in Iowa, and they're with the lakes and with the amount of land available, there are really opportunities to set us apart further from the state of Iowa and the region in terms of recreation.
and we're already starting to see private investment. We now have a small business startup that is letting you rent machines. So if you don't own an ATV or a side-by-side, you can now contact that individual and you can rent a machine for a day out there. He'll drop it off, pick it up. So I think it's a great opportunity out there. And Dennis, if you think back to the days of the Webster County Wheelers, when it first started, you know, that volunteer group of people that put a lot of time and effort into meeting and designing, and yeah, it was a good time.
The state of Iowa changed liability law, environmental liability law, that was so narrowly focused, it will probably never be used again, but for the way it was used in Fort Dodge. So again, going back to all the people that it took, and frankly, Helen Miller ran
a huge
that.
part of that.
Yes, she ran it, and but for that is one thing that I can absolutely say, had the legislature not passed, we would not have the park at all today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, another huge collaborative effort, for sure. So we are moving on now to the topic of Ragbrai. So David, we'll have you take the lead on this one. What's going to be taking place in Fort Dodge during Ragbrai?
So yeah, Ragbrai is happening. It was formally announced a couple of weeks ago that Ragbrai is a go. It looks like everything I've heard from their organization is their attendance and registration is up. So it's going to be, I think, an event as big as ever. Fort Dodge is an overnight town for Monday, July 26th. And so for this time around, our main campground and most of the camping, we are locating down by the riverfront. The main campground will be on the Sunkist Meadows Disc Golf Course, and the area we just talked about, our Central River District in that area as well. and then along the riverfront as much as possible. There'll be teams in all sorts of parks and on school properties and all that as well, but we're focusing on the riverfront, and then our entertainment venue is going to be downtown. One of the things that Ragbrai had requested is to try to keep the bands local and maybe have multiple stages so that you don't have large gatherings. So, and trying to honor that, the entertainment committee is planning on 3 stages. The general location, or the specific location, I should say, has not been determined. Generally, the location of the entertainment and the vendors will be on Central Avenue with so it'll feel and it'll have that kind of look of like what Market on Central was. The vendors will be a little different, but it'll be along Central Avenue, potentially all the way down to, probably not including, but down to maybe the Library Square, and then maybe 11th, 12th Street on the other end, on the other side, depending on how many vendors. And the idea is to have the stages with different bands, one on the east side end, one on the west end, and kind of one in the central area, to have and create an area where people can walk around, enjoy the vendors, enjoy the entertainment, have a great experience, and that other businesses in our downtown area can be involved in the overall night and event. So we're excited about having a big event come to Fort Dodge, and the economic impact that all the riders provide. So we're really excited about that. Just put a shout out. We're still looking for volunteers and sponsors. One of the unique things about this time around is that the Ragbrai organization, the head organization, is donating $15,000 to local charities. And what the advisory and executive committees have decided is that sponsors will be able to determine a portion of that, where a portion of that money goes to, depending on their sponsorship. So we will be actively looking for sponsors for this. And there's a bonus that a portion, well, not a portion of your money, but that you can direct a portion of Ragbrai's money to the charity of their choice. So we're excited to offer that as well. It's going to be a fun day. I'm guaranteeing the weather will be perfect. So we'll have a great Ragbrai experience.
Great. And the logo and the theme is being announced shortly, right?
Yeah, in fact, there's a meeting tonight where I think the logo is going to be picked and then probably announced right after the meeting.
Great. The next question, Mark, this will be for you. So is the clock tower finished, and what are the final stages?
Well, it was perfect timing. This morning, Councilman Flaherty stopped over, and Supervisor Dinklaw and I took him up into the clock tower. And the clock tower itself is pretty much done. We have some exterior lighting that needs to be done yet. The North Mansfield, which is the north roof, there's still some copper that we're waiting for it to arrive so they can finish that, and a little bit of the flat roof work that needs to be done yet. The south part of the building, or south roof, is pretty much done. So we're anticipating in probably the next 3 to 4 weeks, you'll start seeing the scaffolding come down, and they will start doing finishing touches probably in the next 5 to 6 weeks. And we're thinking maybe mid-July to the end of July, the project should wrap up. So for anybody, if you've had the opportunity to drive downtown, and if you're coming from the west going east, you can look up, see the new skylight. Looks absolutely incredible. The exterior lighting is getting connected and focused, and they've been up there trying to adjust it. And it's just absolutely incredible to see that courthouse lit up at night. So we're very excited about it. The anticipation and how they unveiled the clock tower was pretty neat. They took a layer down, and a few days later, another layer down. So it kind of was fun for them too. Couldn't ask for better contractors. Newman has done an incredible job. Their employees on site have been just absolutely wonderful to work with. So we're very excited about this project. And I truly think it is an asset that we're going to appreciate for many years to come.
Yeah, well, that was a huge project. So, I mean, congratulations that it is nearing completion, and during a very complex year as well.
Thank you. Thank you. Supervisor Carlson was kind of the lead on this. He's done a great job meeting with the contractors weekly and keeping us all basically up to date with what's going on. So, congratulations to him. He's done just a fantastic job.
Nice. Our next question is, what is the vision for the Lincoln neighborhood, which would be the area of North 7th Street? And David, we'll have you start out with this one.
Sure. So the city is undertaking a visioning and then a master plan for the Lincoln neighborhood. And the best description is the primary planning area is between 7th Street and 9th Street on the west and east. And then on the south would be First Avenue North. And then on the north side, it would include the Corpus Christi property. And then the surrounding properties would be like a secondary planning area. So the vision for that, and as people have noticed, the city has acquired a bunch of property within that area to redevelop. But the vision is primarily residential of varying densities, and then with potential node commercial within there as well. And so far, the group we've hired to help us with that has done a visioning session with staff and leaders and some stakeholders. There was an online survey that was run March 17th through the 24th. They are in the process of conducting stakeholder interviews right now to see what stakeholders and people within the area around it that are what they would like to see. They'll be developing some concepts within their preliminary plan, and the plan should be wrapped up by June of this year.
All right. So Janice, we'll have you take this next question. So there's a group of community leaders that have been spearheading our daycare initiative here in the area, and several of our Fort Dodge daycares were recently awarded grants. Can you talk a little bit about that and how that grant funding will be used?
Well, both of them are expanding. The two that you're referring to, I think, are Discovery Daycare that's currently in the Levine Center on the north side of Nestle's. They will be building a new facility north of the Aquatic Center, and they received some Future Ready Iowa money from the state in the amount of $734,000. And then the city is giving them an annual appropriation amount of $600,000 to help replace that facility after they move. They currently are licensed for 240 spaces, and they'll be licensed for 250 once they move. The other one is the Community Early Childhood Center in Southeast Fort Dodge. They received a $330,000 public facilities grant some time ago from the Iowa Economic Development Authority, and just received another $600,000 through the Future Ready Iowa Child Care, I guess it's called Challenge Fund. And they will be adding 56 spaces at their facility. And I reached out to Liz Stanek with Linking Families and Dawn Larson with the city, who are spearheading a lot of the daycare work in the community, to just get a little bit of data. Now, I mentioned that we'll be preserving spaces and we'll be adding about 66 new spaces as a result of these two. But to put that in perspective, right now we have 743 childcare licensed spaces in Webster County. And what a group called the Fort Dodge Child Care Work Group has determined is that we have 1743, but we have a need for 4,673. And I do know it's a very acute need in Webster County to help people that work odd hours or different hours, maybe 24/7 facilities. It's a big issue in terms of workforce for our local businesses. And I think it's very important that we look to continue to expand quality daycare. I know surviving the second funnel at the state legislative level, there are a number of bills that provide direct assistance to both companies and or daycares to help expand spaces. There are tax credits that are being proposed. A lot of assistance to help businesses set up daycare centers on site, which I think would, if you can make it cost effective for these companies, would be a great solution too. But quite a bit of work going on. At least we're seeing some growth. I would also mention that the Fort Dodge Child Care Work Group is still working on a business model to build 139 space daycare. But that's, I think, considerably off in the future. So that's the best I can give you in regard to what's going on with that money.
Thank you. So Elizabeth, she is tuning in today, Elizabeth Stonick. And so she made a note. Dennis, I'm not 100% sure the numbers that you gave, but she wrote here in the chat box that 600,000 was from the CDBG grant, Community Development Block Grant.
Oh,
and
public facilities is the component, yes.
And 330,600 was from Future Ready Iowa. So
okay, I had them turned around.
Yeah, but so those are the numbers there with those grants. But Elizabeth, thank you for all of the work that you're doing with that, and thanks for typing in that note of clarification as well.
And I do know that they are soliciting funds for a new facility, and I thought I had the website that they could go to. Maybe she could text that to you and you could share it with the public. I don't have it here in front of me.
Yep, so she just did. Thank you, Elizabeth. And that is childcareconnections.com. Childcareconnections.com.
You know, and I think everybody, I know a lot of us understand, but I don't think a lot of other people understand that Lincoln Families and Elizabeth Stonick really are the unsung heroes for childcare. They're the behind the scenes group that keep things going, updated, find grants for these smaller daycares that aren't able to do it. So, I mean, kudos to them. They do just a great job.
Yeah, I would agree. And I also think people don't realize how important it is to us. You realize it's important to you if you need daycare, but we don't always associate that with the ability to find employees for our employers.
All right, so moving away from the topic of daycare and now on to something completely different, street projects. So this time of year, and actually in recent years, the city has done a significant amount of street projects and just updates. So David, what are some of the major street projects taking place this spring and summer? Where should we be expecting construction?
All over the place. It's typically how our summers are. So there's some resurfacing projects that will be taking place. Central Avenue west of 3rd Street, 5th Avenue North, Hawkeye Avenue west of North 3rd Street will also be resurfaced. And then in the just east of downtown, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20th Street from Central to 2nd Avenue North will all be resurfaced. And then there's some more work.
I'm gonna jump in here because I'm more of a landmark person, David. So when you're rattling off all these streets, can you give us a point of reference?
David, start at Hardee's and go from there.
And go around the roundabout 7 times.
Yes.
No, I'm kidding. Sorry.
Okay, Central Avenue west of 3rd Street. So if you're going by Josephson Manufacturing down to the river, that road.
Right.
5th Avenue North, Hawkeye Avenue West. If you left your office and you were driving to Amigos, when you got off the bridge and turned left, that road down to Amigos is going to be resurfaced.
Okay.
And then, yeah, all those streets, 16th through 20th are those north-south streets. Yeah, basically 15th be the main drag where the fire station is. Then 16th on to 20th. Those 2 block stretches are all going to be resurfaced. Beiser Lumber is in there. There's a whole bunch of other businesses in that area. All righty. 19th Street and 24th Street north of 6th Avenue North and 8th Avenue North between 20th Street and 21st Street are also going to be resurfaced. Those are primarily residential, so I don't have any landmarks for you there. The next one is 25th Street between 7th and 10th Avenue North. That is the street directly east of Fort Dodge Senior High, will be resurfaced. Another big project out at the Country Club in that subdivision, we will do a quasi rebuild reconstruction project there of the streets leading, and the neighborhood streets and the streets leading to the Country Club. In addition, there'll be some reconstruction projects on South 21st Street and 15th Avenue South. Those are the streets just east of Olson, of the southern end of Olson Park, will be reconstructed. Now, maybe we will be rebuilding 10th Avenue North from the high school to the railroad tracks this year. If it's not this year, it'll be in 2022. That's a reconstruction project there. So yeah, we'll have quite a few streets in the works this summer, and there'll be, more construction as well. Some of it's underway. There'll be, more construction on stormwater down in the southeast part of Fort Dodge. There's the water line that you're seeing some construction now along 169, and you're seeing, a water main loop basically around the Alaco site and that in that agriculture area. We're seeing if you're up by Williams Drive, you're seeing the force main being installed from the new lift station to our sewer interceptor down by Soldier Creek. So that's work that's already started, but there'll continue to be, and there'll be some other sanitary sewer work also around the Duncombe School area again this year. So there'll be quite a bit of construction going on.
Great. Well, construction means progress, right?
It means progress. It means we're fixing stuff, we're improving stuff.
One thing that just doesn't directly relate to what you're saying, David, but I was in St. Paul Sunday, Monday, and came in on 10th Avenue North coming back Monday, and they were just seeding Floyd of Rosedale by the Aquatic Center. And so they had it all evenly, colored and so on. The grading was done, the paving's done. And I think it looks like they're ready now to set the actual statue, but it really has been nicely done there, and it really fits that corner. I noticed now that you see things getting cleaned up and all the ruts from construction are gone, you can get the feel of what it's going to be like. So
yeah, it's going to be a very nice plaza. I mean, it's going to be exciting. People are going to see that and really be amazed. It's a big sculpture. When that sculpture is set on there, it'll be quite impressive, and definitely something people will come to see, especially Hawkeye fans.
Yeah, thank you, Councilman Flattery.
Yeah, ISU grad.
Yeah.
And Councilman Flattery is tuning in with us. So yeah, thank you for your leadership on that project. All right, Dennis, this next question is for you. Please provide developments with our primary sector companies and recruitment and retention efforts.
Well, I'm going to continue the way David started with them all. I wish I could tell you about everything, but I can't. Like I said last quarter, we've got, well, actually there is an update. We've got 3 projects that really I'm hoping will all come to fruition this spring, frankly. We do have one of them that I've talked about in the past that actually will be on the Webster County Board of Supervisors agenda for next Tuesday, which will, I think, come out on Friday. I'm going to leave that to Mark to say what he'd like to say, but that's one of the 4 that we talked about last time that now is coming to fruition. All you have to say, Mark?
So yeah, we are extremely excited for this company's continued reinvestment in our park. And the added jobs are very, very good. They're an amazing company and an amazing partner. And when we met with them last week to discuss this, and as they were submitting their application to Iowa Economic Development, it sounds like they have even bigger plans for our area. So we continue to thank them, and we're going to do our best to do everything we can to make it the most attractive ag park in the state and the country.
So everyone read your paper Saturday morning. And I would add too that there's a local package that's been put together, but it's all contingent upon the state approving it at their April board meeting, which I think is the last week of the month.
Anything else on that one, Dennis?
No.
Okay, all right. Lots of behind the scenes work that continues to happen, but a lot of that has to take place before announcements are made. Yeah. All right. This is our last question that was that was submitted. So I continue to ask that if you do have any additional questions or just follow up, feel free to put those in the chat box. But our last submitted question here is on broadband. So David, can you please provide an update on broadband?
Sure can. First, I'd like to compliment the Growth Alliance and the staff on all the hard work they've done on on these industrial recruitment efforts. Most folks out there don't see any of the work because it happens behind the scenes, but there's tons and tons of hours put it into making these projects and showcasing the city. And it's I see it so I can appreciate it, but I know it doesn't get seen by too many people because the companies all want it to be private, but there's just tons and tons of work going into that. So thanks. On to broadband. Yeah, the city is still continuing in our current direction to provide a fiber to the premise, which means we're going to run fiber optic cables all through town from our central location to all properties, all houses, all businesses will have the access to a fiber optic communication network. The idea is we're still going on a path that it will be a city-owned and operated network and funded through the ratepayers, as through revenue bonds paid by the revenues from the system. Because it's fully fiber optic, it'll be cutting edge, it'll be fast, reliable. We think we can price it competitively to whatever service is available in Fort Dodge now. We'll be providing speeds at minimum of 100 megabytes, and that's symmetrical, so that's both upload and download. People can pay a little more and go to 1 gigabyte up and down, and we're hoping to be able to offer soon 10 gigabyte speeds when they're available. So this will be a state-of-the-art fiber optic communication network where we will most likely be offering, not only internet service, but we'll also be offering phone service. If everyone still wants phone service, we're debating whether we provide a full video platform or rely on a kind of streaming video partnership, which may be a direction we're heading in. Those are decisions that we're in the process of contemplating now. And speaking of process, so the city has been at this for year and a half or 2 years almost now, as far as the planning stages. We started and did a pre-feasibility study, and we also got a lot of input from the community and got feedback. We that said that people would be positively receive another communication system. We had a vote referendum that passed by 71% that allows the city to build a communication broadband network. And then we undertook our feasibility study, which is kind of an entry-level, high-level design and feasibility. And the system is feasible, that we should be able to have enough customers, but while still charging a competitive rate to be able to fund the system. We are wrapping up what we're calling our mid-level design. That's another layer of detail on the design, and then that tweaks our business model and feasibility plan. And it's still, we're looking fairly competitive, and it looks like it'll be a feasible project. Well, we actually have workshop with the city council on Monday, this coming Monday, to give them some of the background information from that. The next step, assuming the council gives us the go-ahead, would be to do the full design. And that will take quite some time because that's planning out the entire network and where they're going to be and where they're going to be located. And that would probably, we start, sometime July and wrap up towards the mid to late fall. We would then seek to get the financing in order and then start ordering our materials and begin construction in 22 and tentatively wrap up construction in 23. So and then we'd have our full network built out. So we're excited about that. It'll be a welcome addition, both quality of life and to the business community in Fort Dodge.
We had a follow-up question from the chat. Can you share the broadband speeds again?
Yeah, so the basic speed that people can sign up for would be 100 megabytes, and that's what's called symmetrical. So that means your upload and download speeds will both be 100 megabytes. And then we will offer kind of a premium package, which could be a gigabyte up and down, or symmetrical uploads and downloads. So those are the two residential speeds we're considering right now.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. So that was our final question for our panelists. So you still have time to submit any other questions or any follow-up questions that you have. I did want to share just a quick announcement from the Growth Alliance here as we try to solicit volunteers. So we have a big volunteer event coming up on April 22nd, and that is our annual FOD Walk. So for those of you that are unfamiliar with the FOD Walk, it's essentially Community Cleanup Day. And the Growth Alliance coordinates different teams to clean up different areas of the community. And it's just a really fun day where we can make a huge impact. So that is going to be April 22nd in the afternoon. I believe it starts either 3 or 4 o'clock. And you just spend a couple of hours cleaning up an area of the community. And like I said, it's something that you can do with your coworkers or friends. We have a lot of businesses that get involved and send a handful of employees. So if you are interested in helping and participating with that, you can contact me or our staff member, Lydia Schur. She's actually the one that is coordinating it alongside our. So,
Jill,
Mm-hmm.
and speaking of volunteers, we have a lot going on in our community and our county with volunteers. And I really think we need to recognize a lot of their efforts. As you guys drive around downtown, you see PICA's back, and they are out picking up, cleaning up, dressing up, landscaping, all sorts of areas around town. If you haven't had the opportunity, I urge you to come over and check out the Lizard Creek mountain bike trails. They are absolutely incredible, all done by volunteers. These guys and gals have worked incredibly hard at this and continue to keep them just immaculately groomed. They're absolutely incredible. And also, we have just people out walking the trails, picking up garbage as they do it. It's so neat to see them walk by carrying plastic bags that they picked up or picking up cans as they're walking, keep the trails look good. And I think we really need to thank a lot of these people for doing it. I know it probably seems like nothing to them, but it means a lot to us that see it. So the Mountain Bike Club, PICA, and everybody else, thanks for everything you guys are doing. It makes a huge difference in our county.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thank you, Mark, for bringing that up. Absolutely. All right, I am seeing no additional questions being asked. So I think we'll wrap up with just a couple of minutes early. Thank you again to our panelists for joining us and answering all the questions. We sure covered a lot of ground in 50 minutes. So thank you, not only what you're doing just to answer the questions, but facilitating and coordinating all of the work that goes into all those projects too. So thank you to you guys for that. And thanks for all of our participants for joining us today as well. So have a good day, everyone. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Thanks, Jill. Bye.